Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. It is a minute after the hour, and we're going to give one more minute because we want everybody to be logging in. I can see the steady flow of people joining the call, so that's great. We have a, the overused word is exciting, which, I don't think does this justice. I need to get out my thesaurus and come up with a better word. But I think it's going to be really interesting. I think it's going to be hopefully stimulating of ideas and questions. And I think, there's a little bit of fun in there. So I think we're going to have a little bit of fun. So it's 2 minutes after. Let's roll. Welcome, everybody. We are privileged, that's a good word, to have Jerry Kutavas, who is the new CEO of the ASCII Group, um, recently promoted. Congratulations, Jerry. Uh, and Jerry's got years of experience, in the MSP world, probably knows thousands of MSPs off the top of his head. Um, and he's going to talk about the revolution that's going on in the marketplace, and as it impacts managed service providers and IT service providers, from the AI technology that's hitting the market. Um, and particularly hitting the SMB part of the market. And so we have, ahead of us a conversation. Please put your questions in the chat, and we can I'll moderate and funnel those to Jerry, and we can respond to those questions. If you're not on mute, please put yourself on mute. We will record this. It's being recorded now, and we will um, provide after a transcript, as well as a copy of the slides. So if you have questions and you say, um, hey, do we get copies? Yes, the answer to that is yes. Um, and we have a bonus. And the bonus is an AI acceptable use policy, which both you should have for your business on how you're going to manage use of AI in your companies. But also, it's a great icebreaker. So when you're doing your QBRs with your clients, is something you can talk to them about being responsible, and in using the AI in their businesses. So love to see all the chat. If you want to say hello, good morning, good day, and put where you're from, by all means, help yourself to that. With that, I will hand it over to Jerry, and he can talk to you a little bit about his background and a little bit about ASCII, and then we're going to dive right into the topic of artificial intelligence. So take it away, Jerry. Thank you.
Awesome, Steve. Listen, I really appreciate it. I really appreciate everyone on the line. Everyone's super busy, so this is obviously timely. And unfortunately, that's a bit of a mess in the market right now. There's a lot of confusion, and the velocity of AI is something that we haven't experienced before. So first, I'd like to thank Steve and the ITSP team for allowing me to foster more dialogue on this topic. Again, my name is Jerry Katavas. I'm CEO of the ASCII Group. We are a collection of seasoned IT pros across North America, and we've been in the game for about 40 years. So as we go through this discussion today, I want everyone to understand that each company will need to evaluate its appetite for pursuing these new services as we go through this conversation. When we moved from break fix to managed services, that process was taking current services and packaging them up in a digestible monthly cost. This shift won't be as clean. And that transition prior that we experienced will be about servicing customers in a different way and in a lot more capacity. So I just want everyone sort of to take a breath and not look at the pressures that are on us right now, because we will navigate this. Whoops, sorry guys. I think I went, let me start over. Hold on a second, guys.
Somehow you ended up at the bottom.
Yeah, let's go back to the home. Okay, here we go. All right, so um, I'm a geek at heart, and I love going down the rabbit hole on AI, but I'm going to try to pull back from the fringe concepts that I love talking about and hopefully normalize this conversation a bit for everyone as where we are today and how we can best approach this. But ultimately, this is an exciting time for our industry. The AI space right now is flooded with hype, tools, promises. Buyers are overwhelmed. They don't know what is real, what's risky, or where to start. These conversations are taking place in boardrooms with business owners. Everyone feels this urgency to adopt AI or risk falling behind, but nothing fast without a plan. I'm sorry, guys. Nothing, but moving fast without a plan often leads to wasted spend or missteps. Most businesses lack internal knowledge to evaluate AI's impact on operations, security, or profitability. They're all looking for trusted experts to make sense of it all. This is why our clients need you more than ever. So, a true insider in this space, Mr. Singularity himself, Ray Kurzweil, who has dozens of tech patents, many of which are things that we use today, is going to express what he is saying. And I think this quote really kind of sets the tone of where things are going to go. The reality is that we will accomplish more with technology than we have in the past by a significant factor. This will be a major change for everyone as an industry, as we need to reinforce our position in the marketplace. So if you look at this quote, the person that's an insider is struggling trying to grasp what is actually taking place. So he's obviously a fan of technology, but he's concerned about it. So this is pretty telling, and this is back in 2009. So the hype around AI is just warming up. And I'm not going to speak to each of these stats, but everybody is seeing it. Everything with regards to marketing nowadays, if they don't have AI in it, they're sort of out of position. So it's just creating this hype cycle that is far beyond what we experienced in the dot-com era. But there is a reality here. And I'm going to bring up this chart that I know a lot of people have seen. The reality of AGI is real. I know there's a lot of people that feel that this might be bunk or this is just the next fad or they're not going to be able to break through to really make this thing happen, but it will become a reality. So for the remaining non-believers, I posed this. I pulled this quote from a news clip from a presentation I did last year at the ASCII Edge events when I was talking about AI. And honestly, at that point, it was very challenging to present this at that early stage. I really felt like Chicken Little. I was having conversations in the hallways afterwards that from non-believers that this is just not going to happen, and our industry is not going to be impacted that much, and we're always going to have control of technology, and so on and so on and so on. But every industry is going to be impacted as much as we consider ours almost untouchable in a sense because it's so complicated. The point of AI is to look at that complication and resolve it in a manner of simplicity. And they are going to look at every industry, and no one is going to be unscathed by this. It's unfortunate, but this is what's going to be happening. I'll bring up this example from the quote, and this is Tyler Perry. He's a movie producer, and he put on pause a major build out for a studio once he saw the technology. And this guy just basically he took back a bet, $800 million bet on a studio based on what he saw was being built out. And if you look at today, now mind you, this is last year. If you look at today, a kid in high school can build a professional looking advertisement by prompting. So people are going to be impacted. And the quote and I'll kind of just try to have you guys connect to this. In his quote is that we're moving 100 miles an hour to put guardrails up. The speed of AI is causing everyone to try to catch up. Everyone. And it's unfortunate that their industry is going to be impacted greatly. The developer industry is going to be impacted as well. And this is just the start. And just as an example of this as well. So, digital workers within our industry were not being discussed for the most part of last year. But today, I have fellow members that are automating level one support today. So, gives you an understanding where we're going. So, let's talk about this industry push on us. If you attended the PAX 8 Beyond event, the term managed intelligence provider, or MIP, was somewhat being positioned as the next concept for our industry. And yes, there were many hallway conversations around this, but ultimately they are seeing a shift taking place. And though somewhat controversial, the underlying goal is that the industry wants everyone to remain relevant with their customers as they see change approaching. We let shadow IT in once, and we do not want to let shadow AI to be the next missed opportunity. So let's go through some of these points together. We're hearing it, okay? Evolve your offering or risk irrelevance. AI is the next revenue channel, but no one really has figured out how to truly make money on it. So this is the question mark. There's project work, but we'll get to that. Clients, they're expecting you to be the expert. And automate or lose efficiency. So that's the big one when it comes down to it. But there is an AI push on the SMBs as well. Stay competitive, do more with less, smarter decisions faster, enhance customer experience. So everything we've discussed so far is setting the stage to reinforce your expertise with your client. This entire thing is being served on a golden platter for our industry. And we just have to capitalize on it. So on one side of the coin, we have our industry. The other side of the coin, we have SMBs, okay? And we're kind of in the same boat. And I think we need to realize this. So the market conditions are there for us to leverage this. So, you know, however the technical discovery or MacGyverability our industry has in getting things done and leveraging multiple facets of technology, this is our time to build dialogue and strategic alignment with our customers. So what are SMBs looking for when it comes to AI? Now, these charts and the following slides coming up, I pulled from the National Small Business Association. They were released in May, so they're pretty fresh. And the data is reflective of companies that have 100 or less employees. So I think that for the most part, the average MSP is playing in this space. So this is not, enterprise data. This is really in a sweet spot for what we consider the average MSP approaching. So the survey company broke the customers down in 3 specific categories: currently using AI, exploring AI, or no plans of using AI. And what is interesting, if you look at the third bar, is that users who have no plan of using AI, a good portion regardless, are looking that there is going to be a benefit. Even if I don't use it, they consider that there is going to be a benefit of using AI. So that message, okay, that the market is pushing out on everyone is there, even for people that really are non-believers in it. AI is seen as essential to compete. And I think this is a big thing. I think that if I'm a business and I'm hearing about what's going on in my industry and what people are doing, if I don't react to this and start moving my company forward, I might fall behind. And I think this is a question mark that we have to sort of dig at with our customers. What am I not seeing? What am I missing? What are others doing that I am not? Often when we're selling services today, the client does not consider the investment, for example, cybersecurity, as an ROI. Regardless of how we position downtime, brand reputation, they don't care. However, when you start speaking about productivity and efficiencies gains within the business by adopting new process, there's a clear line of sight in building an ROI for the owner. This is just a great sales opportunity for us. So this was unusual, and I'm kind of glad that they actually asked this question because it ties into the story of resiliency and what's going on in the marketplace. Helping your company perform and become increasingly efficient to weather a potential economic challenge. I just thought that it was interesting that they actually asked this question, but
Hey, Jerry, let me
yeah.
jump in a little bit. The slides we're seeing are a little bit blurry. So if you could
Oh,
take a little time and explain the what's on the slides and then the kind of the point of the slide, that would be helpful.
Oh, I apologize, everyone. So, and everyone will get a deck afterwards. You can reference this, but the company that basically provided this information is showing how owners are looking at AI and how it's going to impact their company. The blue areas on the slide are the positive sides of the question being posed, and the red is people that don't consider an impact. So, with regards to this particular slide, it's talking about resiliency and economic impact in terms of if AI is going to help that business weather an economic storm. And let me see if I can go back one. And this particular slide is referencing that most small businesses see the value proposition of saving time when it comes to AI adoption. Now, since you told me that, Steve, this last slide is not going to help out anyone, but this is really important. So once you receive the deck, please look at this. I'll explain it a little bit. It breaks down by function, internal function, marketing, operations, and what have you, where people feel that AI is going to provide an impact and where they're using it today. The unfortunate thing is on the lower end of the scale, it's security, data, and data privacy, which is something that we obviously want people to embrace, but they're simply not. So I do apologize for the clarity on these slides. So I know many on the call are very familiar with AI technology, so I'm going to provide just a quick overview on core concepts in terms of what AI is delivering and how we can leverage it. So when you look at AI, there's three core categories. One is generative, one is interactive, and one is analytical. And at the base of all this is agentic AI. So generative, for example, if you're familiar with Midjourney, where you can just create an image simply by prompting in the information, that's an example of generative. Interactive, if you think about Apple Siri, that's a good example of this. Analytical, think about Amazon recommended products. So these are all very basic examples, and obviously the technology is so advanced that people are going well beyond some of those that simple functionality. And then leveraging sort of the combination of each of these core components is that's the layer of agentic AI. So an example of this would be someone creating a custom chatbot that might provide additional functionality that touches either a couple of these core concepts or all of them. Now, some of the players in the space And there's a lot of them. And this is creating more confusion for everybody and more choice. And here's a couple that people would know. Obviously, people know ChatGPT, but there's a bunch, and Claude, but there's a bunch of other ones. Windsurf just got acquired. I think it was, I don't know if it was Meta or somebody else, but Bolt is a development platform. There's a bunch of other players in the space, but at this point, there's probably well over 50, and that might be extremely conservative at this point. Um, but this gives you an idea. And some of them touch a specific facet of generative AI where they just focus on images. Others may focus on multiple facets where it's audio, video, images, and more. And then for the interactive side, this is more natural language processing. Um, and good example of this would be Sesame AI. If you have not tried that, check it out. If you are a fan of Black Mirror on Netflix, you're going to sync up and probably stop talking to it. But it is absolutely creepy and scary. But that's where the technology is leading. It's becoming more natural. And for you to have a conversation, the lag is being reduced as we move forward. And these things are becoming super smart and being trained on personality. So it's a little bit different. But these are some of the key players in that space. And then analytical. So again, we have Microsoft there, who is obviously very close to our industry, and I probably should have put Oracle in here as well. But these are some of the key players in the space on the analytical side. But where I think that we need to look and focus is really on this agentic layer. I think this is where we're going to be playing a lot more and delivering services to our customers. So not taking nothing from the other categories. This is where we need to spend some attention, understanding sort of how the plumbing works, who the players are, who are the companies that put things together. There is a lot of information out there. I leverage YouTube. I know that there's a lot of grift on YouTube in terms of get rich stuff, but there is some quality content. So you may have to sift through a bunch of things to get to it, but there is tremendous information right now. And what's interesting is um, uh, people are so open to showing you how this stuff works, even at the code level, that you can learn a lot. So that's a good positive thing for us from a research standpoint. So again, the stage is kind of set. Okay, each one of you has uh, sort of you have an opportunity given all of what is being pushed and presented in the marketplace, this confusion, this noise, this velocity that we're all experiencing. Again, your small business customer is doing the same thing. They're experiencing this. So again, when we shifted from break fix to managed services, we needed our customers to embrace our new recurring revenue model. It was our movement. We wanted them to learn about this and adopt it. And let's be clear, it was for our own best interest. Today, our industry is strong, mature, and growing. This is now your customers' movement to embrace something that could impact their industry. So that same effort that we took to put all that attention into getting customers to adopt managed services, we need to press into setting strategic meetings with our customers and building mindshare now. They need our help, guidance, planning, and a level of discovery that can only be provided through a meaningful business conversation. It's all about alignment with the customer. So where do we stand? So we have to look at areas of opportunity, how we can best approach them. Now, as we explore this, fundamentally, each of these areas we will cover can be accomplished today with or without AI. AI is just a thing. It's just the next thing. It's just technology. That's all it is. The continued goal is to solve an outcome for the customer. However, again, and the market conditions are uniquely set for us to have these discussions now. AI is creating a door opener for conversations that will provide insight into customer operations, which in the long term will make us successful as technology evolves. And by doing this, we are reinforcing our position for current and future projects while providing a genuine opportunity to align with our customers. This is the starting point. So these areas, AI strategy and consulting, powered automation, some of these are getting cut off, data analytics and BI, implementation of the technology, AI-driven cybersecurity, and training and upskilling. The starting point for everything is here, is consulting and having a conversation. So we're going to go through this a bit.
So there is a question that's popped up, and maybe this is a good time to chat about it while you're building this up. Um, it's a technology, right? And if you go back on client server technology, cloud technology, you know, internet technology, there were always in the early days problems of projects that failed, right? And then that particular technology caused a black eye with those customers. So from the AI perspective, you know, this similar risk is out there. How do we prevent an AI project from not functioning, not being productive, and not succeeding, to avoid, you know, those kind of black eyes in front of, you know, small clients who don't understand the technology?
Yeah, I was at an event last week and this came up, and I won't say who the vendor was, but someone implemented um, um, a workflow. The workflow was working, and then it just broke, and they had to pull away from that entire build. Okay, and I think that with everything that's going on, this is a risk. I mean, it's not a something that you could just simply answer. What it comes down to, regardless, is discovering the problem. That's the biggest thing that we have to understand right now, discovering the problem. Once we have that problem understood, it's going to be up to us to fully vet these technologies and understand sort of what the roadmap is and be very cautious. Um, I can tell you this, that there was an enterprise level company that is well connected to some of the key players in our industry. And I was talking to him about um, working on some of these platforms on building stuff out. And they were finding that, well, it wasn't ready for prime time yet, in a sense. It's close, but it's not really ready for prime time. So I think it's a great question. The only way that we can actually get comfortable in understanding this technology is to start digging at it and start using it. And then once we are comfortable with it, we can obviously start introducing this to our clients. So it's a great question. It's just something that you know, I think it's the nature of the beast right now. You know, any technology that we're using right now, we take it through its paces. We're going to have to do the same thing here, but we truly have to know where things are going. And that is something that, given the speed of things, we really have to pay a lot of attention to. Right now, what I've been doing is I've been in watering holes that developers are in with the technology. And I want to be in those watering holes to see what the problems are, to see if there's anything drastic in terms of what is being talked about. And I think, again, we have to do that and be obviously very cautious. So I don't know if that answers the question, but I think
It
ultimately,
does. It definitely helps. That the other, um, I guess, point to be made is the testing and the verification on the back end, right? So defining the question, the problems, the issues on the front end, the goals on the front end, and then once the technology's implemented, just testing and double testing on the back end to make sure that the results are accurate, secure, and useful, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, from a think about this. There's probably customers out there right now that are trying to implement some of these technologies, and they're struggling. So maybe they're picking the wrong technology, or they're picking using the wrong approach. So again, I think it's probably a way to add to the conversation that things are moving super fast. We want to make sure that you're secure. We want to make sure that your employees are doing the right things. But ultimately, we want to make sure that if we do place technology within your environment, that it's going to work long term for you. So I think this is all part of the conversation. And again, we're all in the same boat mentally in terms of what we should be doing. So, so these are some of the key areas that we potentially could look at in delivering a particular solution. But bottom line is, when we're talking to the customer, not going in and saying, okay, well, I know this company needs data governance, I'm going to sell them data governance. It all needs to naturally come out of a conversation with the customer. We need to just solve problems that they're facing now, and it will chip away at a lot of this as we move forward. But it's actually having that alignment with the customer where opportunities are simply just going to open up. So we just cannot dictate to the customer. I mean, how many times? I mean, right now we're obviously pushing cybersecurity, and how many of them still haven't adopted, standard protocols? This is a different conversation. We're going to have to allow them to allow us into where they want to go and start there. So this will be baby steps without a doubt. So it depends on how your approach is, okay, with regards to um, doing this. But I look at this as a game, okay? And how do you want to play the game? A lot of people will just jump right in and go, okay, I'm gonna jump in, I'm gonna start playing the game, and as it goes along, then I'll just figure it out and everything. I think that there's so much here that we can actually tackle. I think we need to know the rules of the game beforehand. And part of this is knowing who to play with and understanding more of the space. And when I say play with, we need to start building sort of this resource network, if you will, where if I run into an opportunity, I already know who I need to talk to. If I have a particular owner that is starting to look at a particular solution, I don't scramble. I already have a list of people that I need to work with. And I think this is going to be super relevant for everybody on the call, because the industry right now, when we started looking at moving into managed services, it was packaged, it was clean. Everyone said, look at this. This is how it's going to work. This is how you're going to do this. This is not clean by any stretch of the imagination. You may to put a solution in place, you may not have one particular resource. You may have multiple ones that have to work together. So I'll give you an example as I click through this. Again, these are all areas that we need to start looking at who we need to select from a partner standpoint. So ASCII recently built a member portal. We went to a low-code platform, and it saved us a great bit of money, probably half the development costs. And what I found is that typically, if you find a solution you like and you work with that company, they're going to recommend an advisor, someone that has already implemented tons of projects for clients, and that's a starting point. So, so again, we have to start building this sort of Rolodex of resources and start leveraging things. And also, too, don't discount what's going on within your peer environment. There's a lot of things happening. I am just blown away of what's taking place on the edge right now. I estimate that 7% of our community right now is building AI agents right now. So, we have an AI committee. I know your organization does as well.
Yeah, we have a task force
Absolutely. And
that meets once a month to talk about AI issues.
yeah, and we're all kind of in this together. And what I've discovered is that within those groups, it's amazing what is being created. I'll give you an example. So one of our members has a client that just builds a widget. I forget what the widget is, but it's a widget. And they have to reconcile about 40 different parts and quotes and pricing and delivery and everything for this one widget. He built a secure agent that simply takes in all the information and provides them the optimal sort of reconciliation of all the parts that are needed from all the vendors. And that's just one small thing. So again, it's helping the end user, the business owner, with the outcome. What are they dealing with? What are they struggling with? Okay, so AI, it's just a thing. This is all comes down to a business conversation. So let's talk about line of sight, because this is what it's going to come down to. All right, what are we working with right now? Okay, what do we need? So this is what we have right now. And I apologize because the font didn't come across, so it's kind of chopping away at some of the text. But we have historical information on the client. Okay, that's something we have. We have historical ticket information on the client. We have log information on the DNS side. We know if they have adopted a policy for AI. We know if they've adopted a data governance policy. And we should know the vertical challenges for that particular client based on the vertical that they're in. So this is sort of what we have. This is what we're going in with, okay? But it's not enough. It's evidence of what they may need, but it's not specific to what challenges they're facing internally and what they might be facing in the future. So it's a start of building the story and understanding a little bit more about the company, but we have to go further. This is what we ultimately need. We need alignment, we need goals, and we need to uncover the hidden opportunities. So the goal for everyone is client alignment, which takes engagement and open dialogue to help future-proof your current customer's business. And again, each of you on this call owns the client relationship. Do not discount your authority in helping your customers make sense of what is happening in the market. Okay. Hey, Jim, this is Jerry. I'd rather not do a QBR this quarter. I just want to talk to you, owner to owner, if you're open to it, just about your industry. Okay. Whatever approach you take, you're trying to bridge the gap and open up dialogue, not to sell, but to discover. That is it. There's a saying, selling is not selling. And that's this in a nutshell. We need to start looking at the relationship with our clients, not on a ticket basis, not on uh, um, a number of endpoints managed. We need to look at this as a strategic alignment that is going to push these companies into the future, given all that's in front of us right now. So let's start talking about bridging the gap. So these are just examples. I know that there's many out there, but open dialogue questions. What are we trying to take off their plate? And some of it may not even be IT related. I thought this was a great question. Okay. As we start opening up dialogue with these companies, they're going to give us the pathway to work with them. It's just a matter of trying to get this out of them. And I know many of you on the call are very good at this, but as our industry has automated itself, we're not in the client face anymore as much. We're just not, and this needs to change. We need to start pushing ourselves to have these deeper conversations in a manner that is trusting and that is going to be impactful for them long term. So it's just getting intelligence. Getting that intelligence is going to matter so much as we move forward, as the technology is shifting and evolving so quickly. So we'll be wrapping up uh, shortly, but I want to provide some resources. And as Steve mentioned before, we have an AI usage policy that will be shared um, with the group, and I put that in Word so it's you can edit this, you can use it as a baseline to customize it further. But here's some additional other resources that I want to share. Now, mind you, I'm looking at this a little bit differently. I told you in the beginning, I like to go down the rabbit hole. So some of the stuff is French stuff, but some of it isn't. So right now, here's some players that are approaching our industry that understand MSPs that you should start talking to now. Okay. Vince Kent, he was a fellow ASCII alum. He sold his company and he created a company called Synthro.ai. Greg Lally, who was an executive at ConnectWise, is now pulled over there. They're building out something for the industry. So something you may want to consider just seeing what they're up to. Crushbank is another company that essentially has been around for a while. They're leveraging the IBM Watson platform. Now, again, this is more enterprise oriented, but again, someone to know if you fall into a great opportunity that might line up for you. Hats AI, Jimmy Hats, they're actually building up a platform as well. I have members using them right now. So another player to consider. But as I mentioned before, I love Upwork. I use Upwork all the time to find experts and what have you. You can just go in there and search and build a favorites list and talk to them and vet them and not even have a project. You just have somebody like, okay, I feel confident in this one person. If this project comes through, this is somebody that I want to talk to. So start leveraging that. But who I follow that are great resources, Lisa Crosby. If you have not caught this person, great Microsoft resource, not from Microsoft, she's a partner. Her trainings online are great. She goes deep into Copilot and a variety of other things. Regarding Copilot Studio, I'm going to butcher her name, but I've been following her. Uh, I don't even want to take a chance at this. Isia Baya. So this person is an insider at Microsoft. If you follow her, um, they provide open opportunities for training that and with the right people at Microsoft. Okay, for Copilot Studio, you could see what's coming next. This is a person that you want to know, and her connections you want to know as well. So this,
So
yeah,
let me jump in on a couple of industry players that I have used and follow. There are a couple of AI MSPs out there who only provide AI services. They don't provide the managed service provider services the way the way the folks on this call might do it. And they are helpful both in tutoring, partnering, discussing projects. They offer training. So if you or your people need to get up to speed, they offer that. Um, One of them is called White Glove out of Dallas. The other one is 5K, also out of Dallas. Um, Very helpful people. In terms of resources, there is the Gartner equivalent for AI, and they're called GAI Insights. And we'll share these names with you and contact information. But what's interesting about them is not only do they put out a daily email to keep people educated on what's important, but they also offer a Monday afternoon every week, what they call the Learning Lab. And it's a little more technical, but again, it's a way interactively to ask questions of people um, who spend, part of their day learning and keeping up with what's going on in the AI world. Um, the the last one I think is there's a group out of San Francisco called AI Realized, and they only talk about AI projects that are in production that are working. And their focus is more mid-enterprise and large enterprise. But again, they're talking success stories, right? So they're not talking pie in the sky stuff, stuff out in the future, stuff that may happen. They're talking about how people are using different technologies today for doing that. So that's something for me, Jerry.
Excellent, all good stuff. I mean, this is a growing thing for us to find the right players in the market. So I appreciate all the recommendations. This is again a little fringe, but Dave's Garage. This is a gentleman that is highly technical that's building out AI systems on premise with needed hardware. It's highly technical, but if you want to go down the rabbit hole there, that's someone that you may want to look at. But in terms of research, Alan Thompson, this is a person I've been tracking for a long time. He has a newsletter, it's paid for, called The Memo. If you want to see where things are going with the technology and breakthroughs, he is a rock star in that area. On YouTube, there's something called 2 Minute Papers. This is something that researchers breaking down vetted papers that have been released uh, related to AI. There's some very interesting things there that are taking place. And the reason I'm bringing this stuff up is that as we start looking at technology and what is real and not real, you can see what is coming down the pike. And I'll make mention of this 2 minute paper thing. It probably about 4 months ago, it didn't get much press, but they discovered that the training models actually perform better, not as a specialist, but as a generalist. So if you were to actually have a training model that had um, uh, a generalist for healthcare or for sales or whatever, and have that in combination, not at a PhD level, you actually can actually create a better performing LLM. So the best way to describe it is if you think about war games, when at that last scene, when the computer was taken over, the computer took over everything, and they were having the computer do tic tac toe, and it was training itself. That paper that was released 4 months ago is basically saying that the computers will actually teach themselves just at a very general level and outperform specialists. So take it for what it's worth. And then lastly, this gentleman, Matthew Berman on YouTube, he's really in touch with what's going on with the latest news. He breaks down the information in a very digestible way. And those are some of the people that I follow. All right, some fun. Steve told me to do this, so I guess
Yeah.
we will do this, right? Okay. So predictions. All right, digital level one workers will be mainstream by 2028. I already know companies that are doing it, and this I think this is
So
realistic.
we're going to come back in 2028, Jerry, and we'll see how good your predictions were.
That's it. That's it. Bruce Willis will star in a film after his untimely death. That will be done. I truly feel that that is going to happen. AGI by 2028. Again, I know everyone makes predictions on this stuff, but I will put one out there. That's I'm throwing my ring in the hat there. And then generative engine optimization will become prevalent. It'll SEO will go away, and this is going to be the next thing. This is something that just people realize is happening now. How many people are using Google anymore?
It's declining. It's still the lion's share by a vast majority, but they've had down quarters and they're being replaced by ChatGPT, which is people are using to do just plain old research. So that's where the shift is taking between those two platforms.
Absolutely, absolutely. So one of the concerns is being found in the future, because these systems are summarizing sort of the results. And if you're not in that summary, you're out of luck. What they're finding is that The systems today that are scraping the internet love FAQs because they're structured. So, just a little tip for everyone: you want to make sure FAQs are up to snuff. And then, lastly, by 2027, Carl P will be fully digitized as a custom avatar. It'll be a app that you have 24/7 access to him to navigate some tech and business problems. So I don't know if he's on the line, but I wanted to give him some love there.
Now, Carl can respond in the chat with whether he thinks that that's going to take place. There are a couple of other predictions in the chat we should throw out. Google Gemini. So, multi-language, verbal interaction. Is that going to start replacing the search engine functionality? Um, so that's a potential shift in that area. Um, what were the other ones here? So that's just around SEO. Uh, yeah, digital level workers, mainstream by 2028. So you're talking about L1 tickets, L2 tickets, L3 tickets. So how do you see that progressing? So are service agents going to have, the people, the human agents are going to have helpers, right? Transitioning, and then eventually the digital agents will take over complete responses um, to L1 ticket questions.
Yeah, it's happening now. I'm surprised um, at this early stage, people are really going forward with it and adopting it. So there's companies right now that are completely handling a level one. Okay, it just depends on the owner's approach to it. They can say, okay, this is going to help, and I'll repurpose my level ones for something else within the company, or just enhance the customer experience based on this. But it's going to progress to L2 and L3. It's inevitable. It's just going to happen. I won't mention the company on the call because we're still fully vetting them. But I do have one member that has done this, and that's why I mentioned this. So and just to give you an idea, a perspective on how fast people are looking at this stuff. The one good thing about ASCII is that we get to see technology in advance before it really kind of hits the market. And we look at this technology, see if it's real or not, and then hopefully, if it's beneficial, we'll do something for the community. This company that reached out to us, probably about, they've only been around for 6 months. Okay, they've been baking this for a long time, but they've been around for 6 months. We talked to them. We're vetting them right now. I have one member that has adopted them fully and is using them to handle level one. The system goes in, looks at all of your knowledge base, so all of the information that your tech should be putting into the system. If there's holes in that, it'll actually fill those in. It trains on that data, and then you can actually set the speed of response based on what you want from a customer experience perspective. So it just depends on the owner's approach. Some owners are going to look at this and like, okay, I'm going to create an efficiency here. I may not want to lose heads from an operational perspective. I just want to enhance and figure out a means to repurpose um, uh, the staff I have in other functions of the company or in other areas. Okay, it just depends on the owner's approach. But there's going to be no, let's not make any qualms about it. There's going to be an explosion of these companies hitting the market next year. I'm just telling you, I'm seeing it. So,
Yeah, I have to
and,
concur with
and
that.
obviously, and obviously, these platforms that we're working with right now, they're trying to figure this stuff out as well. So, this is going to be a reality, unfortunately, and we just have to prepare and make sure that we're doing right by not only our employees but our customers in terms of
Yeah.
how this works. You know,
So interesting question on the chat about human interaction. It seems like customers will pay a premium for human interaction. They want to talk to a live person. So maybe there's configuration where the human customer service interfaces with the client, but that human is being supported and partnered with by tools um, to make them do their jobs faster, easier, quicker, so that they're able to offer faster and more thorough responses human to human.
I think it's a great point. I think it's a wonderful point, and um, obviously, um, where things are going to go, you're also going to have agents that are cheaper because they perform at a slower pace. So it all depends on your approach to things in terms of how you're going to deliver this sort of experience, if you will.
Yeah.
But I love the compliment. I think that it's probably right on.
Yeah. So we have 3 minutes left. Let's kind of wrap up. I need to do some housekeeping here. And one is to thank our sponsors. So the NSITSP has vendor sponsors that sponsor us for the year. Channel Pro is a sponsor, Channel Wise, Kernan Consulting, Small Business Thoughts, longtime sponsor, SMB Nation, and our very own SMB Tech Fest, who has an event coming up soon. And I guess I wanted also to put a plug in for AI training with an MSP focus. Um, Amy Babinchek offers a weekly course. Um, and at the end of that weekly course, the MSPs in that course have a practice that they then are able to customize for their business and roll out to their clients. I think, Jerry, you said the first thing is that the people on this call and MSPs in general need to evaluate their strategy because not every strategy fits every region or every client base or every managed service provider. And if you have a client base that does not want that sort of technology, does not want that kind of interaction, um, then the AI tools might not be a fit for you. If you have client base that's hot to trot, then maybe you need to get someone in your office trained so that at least they can talk the language um, and represent your firm in front of clients. One of the things we talk about is what to do tomorrow morning. So, Jerry, when people wake up tomorrow morning, what are the kind of two or three things they need to, um, jump into? And one of them, I think, I'll throw this out, is understanding what a workshop looks like. So, a strategic workshop with a CTO or a business owner to understand their issues and their problems, and then bring the technology solutions to those problems. AI gives an opportunity or an excuse to schedule that workshop because you can go to the owner and you can say, hey, there are new tools out there. We want to refresh, where your strategy is going as a client of ours, and then have that extended dialogue. So anyway, just kind of wrap up on the slide. If you're not a member of the NSITSP, real simple. There's the URL. Go grab it. If the other thing to do tomorrow morning, join the group. So join the ASCII AI group to meet other people who are interested and knowledgeable, or the NSITSP AI task force. Ping me and we'll get you on our mailing list for that. So with that, we are at top of the hour, Jerry. Any final thoughts?
Um, Honestly, I really do appreciate the opportunity, Steve. In terms of where we are all together, I mean, just rely on your communities. Talk to your peers.
Yeah.
Start building this dialogue and conversation up. Sure, we don't have everything figured out completely, but this is going to happen. This is going to be reality, and this is going to be the best thing for our industry and your customers. So I just want to make sure that you guys are aware. We have events as well around the country. I'm going to give everyone a complimentary pass. If you go to events.ascii.com and use Edge Guest, you're more than welcome to join the conversation as well. But again, I appreciate Steve and the team for the wonderful job they're doing for our industry, and obviously appreciate the dialogue here.
Thank you so much, Jerry. With everybody, we'll now wish you a good day. Come back and see us. And, you know, thanks for coming. We appreciate your time. We know you're all busy. So with that, we'll sign off.